Hi everyone. Good evening guys. Welcome to Sunya IAS. I hope you guys are doing great. In this live session, we will discuss the next part of our modern Indian history series. I hope I'm live. If it is audible and visible to you, please let me know in the comments. Those of you who have just joined, please like the video, like it and share it with friends. And please try to spread it all over your social media accounts. And please comment there if you can see live and if it is working fine. So I hope we can start now. Okay, so let's start. Now, in this session, we have a topic of civil disobedience. Civil means civilians, general people, public. Okay, so public, janta, aam janta. Okay, general public. What they will do? They are doing disobedience. Means they will not obey the government. Okay, not obeying the government. So they will not obey the government. And by not obeying the government, they will lead a movement. Movement means when you have a goal and a time frame to do something. And to achieve this, they are doing the civil disobedience movement under Mahatma Gandhi. But at that time, when India decided to go for civil disobedience, when Congress and Gandhiji decided to do, simultaneously round table conferences were going on by the Britishers. So Britishers are initiating, or they at that time they initiated the round table conferences. There were three round table conferences. Okay, three round table conferences were there. And if you talk about the civil disobedience movement, it was by the Congress and other leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and so many other leaders were there. You can call them Indian nationalists. Okay, this is the topic. So before you start anything, you need to just understand the topic very well. That what exactly are you going to study? So what is the goal? We need to understand here that civil disobedience movement is having a goal. The goal is to achieve the Purna Swaraj. Now we will not discuss the dominion status, Swaraj or home rule because it was a partial independence. It was not a complete independence. Because if you got self rule, we have a government would be having a tyranny of Britishers. But if you get complete independence, then you will get a sovereign polity. Like today in India, we are a sovereign nation because there is no suzerainty of Britishers or any other country on India now. We follow our own diplomacy and our own logic when we sign any deal or when we go for any of the treaties world. So here, let's understand why and how the civil disobedience movement was launched. But before I started, there is a question. Even if you're watching it in recorded session, just answer me in the comment section. When was the first civil disobedience of Mahatma Gandhi was launched? Yeah. First civil disobedience, you have three options: Kheda, Ahmedabad, or Champaran. Tell me in the comments. Because when Gandhiji came to India, when he came back here, he decided to start satyagraha, right? He decided to start satyagraha. So when he decided to start the satyagraha, started from Champaran, Kheda, and Ahmedabad. So you need to tell me which of these places first civil disobedience movement was launched. Can you tell me that? My voice is low, but I think it is fine. I think the voice is okay, but still, in case you feel it is low, then every one of you comment fine or low. Comment. Okay. then I'll understand. Okay. Yes, Shubham. Yes. Hello, Naideep. Hello, Pratik. Yes. Fine. So the idea is that here we understand the civil disobedience movement is not obeying the government or the orders of the government, the laws or the things made by the government. So British government, when Gandhiji entered in Champaran to do the indigo satyagraha for the peasants of Champaran in Bihar, he was asked to leave that area, but he disobeyed the government and he started his own satyagraha there. So that was in Champaran. So Champaran is the right answer, where the first civil disobedience movement was launched by Gandhiji. Clear? Now, if we understand what is civil disobedience movement, you need to understand here a good amount of mass participation is going to be there. Okay, so mass movement it was, and it was launched by the Congress after a gap of 8 years because they started the Swaraj party and fought the election. There were several factors that prepared the ground for the civil disobedience movement. If we understand those grounds, you remember that before civil disobedience movement we had a non-cooperation movement, but the non-cooperation movement was withdrawn by Gandhiji due to Chauri Chaura incident. So after the withdrawal of non-cooperation movement, it was after 8 years of gap when we decided to launch a full-fledged movement again. Okay, the withdrawal of NCM to non-acceptance of Nehru report by the British government, because Nehru report was submitted and in the Nehru report we asked for dominion status, but we did not get it. So we said that now we will not ask for dominion status anymore, and Congress with Jawaharlal Nehru in 1929 celebrated the first Independence Day as the Poona Swaraj of India. Now, if you look at the run up, like how the civil disobedience movement was followed, at the Calcutta session of Congress in 1928, it was presided by Motilal Nehru, father of Jawaharlal Nehru. When Nehru report was there, Nehru report was approved by all the Congress members. So it was approved by the Congress, but younger elements led by the Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, Satyamurthy, they demanded that the Congress set the goal of Purna Swaraj or complete independence. Then why are you asking for the dominion status in Nehru report? Okay. So 1 year was given to the government. Still, if they could understand the idea of dominion status, then people could, you know, restrict themselves to that particular demand and can assume that okay, fine, let's go for one step first and later we can achieve the Purna Swaraj later. But it was not agreed. It was not agreed. It was not something favorable for the British government at that time, and Britishers decided not to accept it. They rejected the Nehru report, and that's why the civil disobedience movement was launched. So, in the Lahore Congress session of December 1929, which was presided by Jawaharlal Nehru, they first of all they celebrated the first Independence Day and assumed the Purna Swaraj, that we don't care if even if Britishers are here for us, but they are foreigners. We will make our own law, we will make our own government, and we will establish everything by ourselves. If they will be here, they will be treated as a foreigners, and we can do whatever we want, and we won't stop anymore. So this kind of idea was there in the Congress. Now they started to discussing the roundtable conference and to see if they have any potential to join it or not. So all the members said that no, we don't want to go for it. And the round table conference is something by the Britishers. And as they are not having any mindset to give the complete independence to India, and if they don't understand the problems of India, then there is no point of joining them in the round table conferences. And that's why Congress just started boycotting it, that we won't go to any of the round table conference. But you will see that there were three round table conferences. In the first roundtable conference, the Congress did not participate. Okay, Congress will not join. But in the second round table conference, Gandhiji will go, Congress will join. So, what will happen in the first round table conference when the Congress and Gandhiji will not be there? Britishers won't be able to decide anything. They just got confused and they thought that if Congress will not come, then there is no idea of discussing things in the conference meeting. So then it was just of no use. The first round table conference failed completely. But the second round table conference was fine for Britishers because this time Gandhiji and Congress joined. But the problem was nothing was achieved for the Congress for the Indian independence. So Gandhiji was very, very worried and he was completely irritated because of this behavior, and then he decided to come back and relaunch the civil disobedience movement. So the civil disobedience movement which you are studying right now, just understand that it had two phases. It will be there during the first roundtable conference, it will be on the hold during second roundtable conference, it will restart again after the second roundtable conference. So you need to understand that the civil disobedience movement was on hold during the second roundtable conference because Gandhiji and Congress decided to participate. As you can see there, that in the first roundtable conference, they decided to boycott only. Is it clear? Yes, you are right, Habib. Very nice. You are extremely right that it was because of Champaran. Champaran was the right answer. Now, let's come back to the topic. So, complete independence was a real aim now for the Congress, and Congress Working Committee. They authorized to launch civil disobedience movement, including the non-payment of taxes. Means they said that if government will not get any revenue, they won't be able to function. So this was the idea to just start this non-payment of taxes, and all members of legislature, they were asked to resign, and yes, they resigned at that time. January 26, 1930 was designated as the first independence or Swaraj Day. Okay, if we talk about the political activity during 1929, Gandhiji toured India and Congress Working Committee organized foreign cloth boycott committee here. There they just decided to boycott the clothes and also the British made goods in India. Other development was Meerut conspiracy case, which happened in March, bomb explosion in the Central Legislative Assembly by Bhagat Singh, and after that you will see that Bhagat Singh would be hanged. Bhagat Singh, PK that April, minority Labour government was there by the MacDonald in May, and Wedgwood Bin became Secretary of State of India for India. Okay, so SOS got changed, and so many other developments happened. Now you will see that Irwin, he declared something. He wanted to have a settlement with the Congress when they saw that the Congress is having the civil disobedience movement and they are not coming on the table. So there was a joint effort by the Labour government and the Conservative Viceroy. Basically, uh, they never wanted to have any election problem in their country in Britain because Britain was going through a political turmoil that time. So the declaration goal was to restore faith in the ultimate goal of British policy. Means they somehow wanted to bring Congress on the table so that they could convince Congress that British rule would be beneficial for India and there a transitional power could be there with Indians, and Indian will get a great level of participation under the British rule. So a kind of a midway, a solution was somehow seeked by the Britishers at that time. They wished to have a midway, but this midway was not something which Britishers could achieve. Why? Because Congress never wanted any midway now. They were extremely clear that they only want complete independence, only and only complete independence, nothing else. So Irwin's promise was there. He promised that if you will come to the meeting and if you can discuss things with us, then Britishers will provide dominion status to India. Okay, so Irwin's promise was there. Okay, dominion status would be there, and they said that it would be unavailable for the long time. Means initially we can start with the dominion status, later we can change it with, as per your demands, as per the Indian needs. And they promised that yes, round table conference after the Simon Commission submitted the report, they will discuss the report also in the round table conference, and they will initiate with the better developments and strategies. But somehow they just lost the trust of Congress and Indians. Nationalists did not agree to participate. So there was a Delhi manifesto. It was on 2nd November 1929, where we gave few conditions for attending round table conference. Congress decided to give a offer. Congress gave a offer. The offer was known as Delhi Manifesto. The Congress said that, see, the round table conference purpose is not clear to the Congress. So we just want to understand that why exactly you want to sit with us. You really feel that somehow, you know, Indians are somehow, just give me a moment. Yeah. So basically, what happened was that Congress said that you consider Indians as uncivilized, then why are you asking us to come for you? And if you want us to be there on the table, then please give us a purpose. And why are you having this meeting? What is the purpose of meeting? And if you clarify the purpose, then only we will come to you, and then only we can hold the disobedience movement, because we don't know if there is any trap by the Britishers again. So they wanted to understand the purpose. If it is only for dominion status, then when they will get the dominion status, and if it will be reached, then how the constitution would be implemented for the India, and how the dominion status will lead the new Indian constitution. So this clarity was not there. Congress to have majority representation at roundtable conference. They wanted majority and general amnesty for political prisoners and a policy of reconciliation. Irwin rejected the demands, and because of this rejection, Congress said that okay, then if you reject the demand, we will not come. Because if you are not releasing our political prisoners, if you are not helping our leaders, if you are not having any friendly support for the Indians, then Congress will not come. Congress will not support you. Congress will not join the round table conference. Okay, so it was very, very clear. Now, they just started having the civil disobedience movement. It was going on in India, and somehow you could see that a huge level of mass movement was there. But then, when nobody came in the first roundtable conference, the government became very impatient, and there was a sense of urgency. And in this sense of urgency, they decided to somehow get Gandhiji on the table. And Viceroy Irwin again asked Gandhiji to come and discuss things. So Gandhiji, before attending the second roundtable conference, he wanted to ensure few points. So he gave 11 points. January 1930, when Gandhi's 11 points came in front of the government. So Gandhiji said that first of all, you should reduce the expenditure on army and civil services by 50%, because it is somehow draining the Indian wealth, and defense was not needed at a huge level for the British India at that time. Again, second thing was introduce total prohibition. Means we don't want British goods in India. Also, Gandhiji wanted to reform the criminal investigation department, because few of the leaders got penalized due to wrong findings. Change Arms Act, in which they should allow the arms and keeping arms to Indians. So Arms Act was there. in which they restricted the arms and ammunition. So it was there allowing the popular control of issues of firearms licenses. Gandhiji wanted that there should be release of political prisoners because they are only freedom fighters. Gandhiji wanted to accept the postal reservation bill. Okay, so that postal reservation bill would be there. So it will somehow lead to a economic development in India. Gandhiji also wanted to reduce the rupee sterling exchange ratio by 1s4d, means the, let's say if for example 1 Indian rupee is equal to 75, 75 Indian rupees is equal to $1. So $1, 1 is to 75 ratio is there. So this ratio is rupee and sterling, means Indian rupee and British rupee, okay, or the British currency. Protection of Indian textiles, protective tariff and coastal shippings, reserve coastal shipping for Indian specific peasants' demands, reduce land revenue by 50%, and abolish salt tax and government salt monopoly. Okay, so all these things were there. Somehow Gandhiji was very much optimistic about the economy of India, and he wanted to plan accordingly so that he could have a better economy. So this, thing was there, but he got no answers from the government, and government was also not taking it very seriously. So yes, civil disobedience movement was launched. It was launched by Gandhiji from the Dandi March. Why Dandi March and why salt? Salt satyagraha became so popular. Why? Because salt is a basic need. We need to have salt in our food, right? It is very important for iodine, it is very important to control the BP, and it is a medicine, right? But if you look at India, we already had so many oral traditions and sayings regarding salt, कि किसी का नमक जो है खाने के बाद नमक हरामी नहीं करते या नमक हलाली नहीं करते, whatever it is. तो नमक जो है बहुत important है. नमक is somehow connected to loyalty, right? तो नमक खाया है तो मतलब लॉयल रहेंगे. This situation was always there. And second point was, even if somebody is very very poor, and if you compare that poor person's food with the rich person's food, you will see that both of them will have similar quantity of a salt in their plate. Because if you are very rich, you will not eat 10 spoon of salt in a bowl, in a dish, just to because you are rich. No, you can't consume too much of salt, you can't consume too less. There is a balance, there needs to be a balance of salt and taste. And that's why Gandhiji chose this thing. It was such a small thing, but Gandhiji made it a national debate at that time. And the problem was, we Indians, we are, if you look at the geography of India, we already have such a big coastline. So India had big coastline, but it could not produce its own salt, so Indians were not allowed to make their own salt. And that's why government somehow, they were draining Indians, they were taxing Indians in a very wrong way. So that's why Gandhiji wanted this permission from the government, that Indians should be allowed to make their own salt, not for the sale purpose, but for their own consumption. So, civil disobedience movement, which is Salt Satyagraha, it was launched. Okay, it was a big upsurge. It was again a very big movement. So, it is Dandi March. Why? Because they went to Dandi. Dandi is a coastal province in Gujarat. So, it was in the 12th March. So, from 12th March to 6th April 1930, the Dandi March was there. So, Gandhi informed Viceroy of his plan of action, and Subhash Chandra Bose had compared the Salt March to Napoleon's march from Elba to Paris. If you will read the European history or the world history, there you'll see that in 1789 there was a French Revolution, and after French Revolution got ended, Napoleon Bonaparte came in Europe, and he became a great leader. And then he used to call himself modernizer of Europe, and he controlled a lot of areas including France, Germany, Austria, and so many other places were there under the control of Napoleon. And to defeat him, Russia, Britain, Austria, all these big countries came together and defeated him in the Battle of Waterloo. So, yes, you will read it in the world history, but just understand that this fact is important for you because it could be asked in prelims that who compared the salt march of Gandhi ji to the Napoleon's march from Elba to Paris. So remember that Subhash Chandra Bose compared this salt march. Okay, he compared this salt march to Napoleon's march from Elba to Paris. Remember this fact, this line can come directly in the prelims. Clear? I'm giving you questions also, practice questions to understand. Now, Gandhiji, with his 78 followers, they started from Sabarmati Ashram, and there's Gandhiji. He took a pledge that I won't come back to this Sabarmati Ashram if I will not achieve success in this Dandi March. If I could not get independence for India, then I will never come to this place, because he used to love this ashram. He had a great deep feeling. But the problem and irony is that Gandhi ji really could not return to this ashram once he, went out of this place, because he got busy in the independence struggle and he was not able to come back. However, he got success in the Dandi March, and yes, salt tax was abolished. But I'm just telling you the pledge he took, but he was not able to come back even after completing the pledge. So 78 followers of Sabarmati, they were to march from his headquarters in Ahmedabad through villages of Gujarat for 240 miles. Okay. Now, Gandhi's instructions to his followers, wherever possible, civil disobedience of the salt law should be started. Gandhiji, he gave these instructions to his followers. Foreign liquor and clothes shops can be picketed. Means he was saying that, see, we can start the civil disobedience movement, but it should not be similar to the non-cooperation movement, because non-cooperation movement was too strict, and their Chori Chora incident came. So Gandhiji was saying that please try to be very non-violent and have a peaceful mind in your approach. So wherever possible, civil disobedience movement of salt law should be started, and it should be there in a very peaceful way. After following this, many of the local leaders in their own regional areas went to their own coastal lands and made and prepared their own salt by boiling the sea water. And in case if any regional leader had no sea around or no coastal area around them, they just decided to use a pond, or to use, even if a small watershed or river area is there, they could use it. So they started doing it. Why? Just to have a symbolic march, even if the coastland is not near. So this kind of enthusiasm was there, which you can see. So we can refuse to pay taxes if we have requisite strength. So Gandhiji said that if you will not pay the taxes, of course you will face the challenges. So if you have strength, then only go to this point that you won't pay the tax. Lawyers can give up practice, public can boycott the law courts by refraining from the litigation, and government servants can resign. Obey local leaders after Gandhi's arrest, because Gandhiji never wanted this movement to fade out. And this movement was extremely successful. Gandhiji really got a lot of achievements. And if we talk about the spread of salt law disobedience, there was a big spread. Salt law disobedience or civil disobedience was going on. Gandhi got arrested. He got arrested on 4th May 1930. Okay, when he had announced that he would lead a raid of Dharsana salt works, he wanted to lead a raid on Dharsana salt works on the west coast, but he was arrested. After Gandhi's arrest, Congress Working Committee sanctioned the non-payment of revenue in Rayatwari areas, and no chowkidari tax campaign also was going on in the zamindari areas, and the violation of forest laws in the central provinces. So they were violating all the laws, and they were not afraid of the government and their repressions anymore. If we talk about the satyagraha at different places, this is important for prelims. Remember, In Tamil Nadu, we had a leader, C. Rajgopalachari. Rajgopalachari also gave us a formula, C. Rajgopalachari formula, which will be there near to the independence when we will give a formula for independent India, but it was not successful. But remember that we will read about the Rajgopalachari formula later. So C. Rajgopalachari was from Tamil Nadu. He organized a march from Tiruchirappalli to Vedranyam, and it was on the Tanjore coast in April 1930 to defy the salt law. In Kerala, salt marches were organized by K. Kelappan, a Nayar Congress leader. He was best known for the Vaikom Satyagraha. In Odisha, the salt satyagraha was successful in the coastal districts of Balasore, Kattak, and Puri under a Gandhian leader, Gopal Bandhu Chaudhary. Very, very important, Gopal Bandhu Chaudhary. Okay, so remember the name of these leaders and their places. You can make a table if you want. In Assam, it was in May 1930. However, a successful student strike against the Cunningham Circular was there, which prohibited student political participation. So already, students, they somehow were extremely angry at this area. Chandra Prabha Saikni initiated the aboriginal Kachari villages to break the forest laws, which was denied by Assam Congress leadership. Okay, just remember this. Okay, it is again very, very important that in Assam also we saw few political agitations and few forest laws getting broken down. If we look at the Peshawar area, there we had a great leader, Ghaffar Khan, or Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. He was also known as Badshah Khan. He was also known as Frontier Gandhi. Founded the first Pushto political monthly. Very, very important for prelims. Remember the fact the name was Pukhtun, and he also organized a volunteer brigade known as the Red Shirts, who followed non-violence and resistance against the government. In Dharsana, Sarojini Naidu, Imam Sahib, Mani Lal, who was Gandhi's son, they resumed the unfinished business of leading the raid on Dharsana salt works because Gandhiji was arrested due to this point only. So they went there. They started raiding it on May 21st, 1930. If we talk about people in Vadala, Bombay, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh, everywhere in Karnataka also Sanikatta salt works was there. Midnapur, Balasore, Puri, Kattak, everywhere they had their own kind of salt satyagraha with their own local leaders. So entire India participated, all of them participated. If we talk about Maharashtra and Karnataka, in these areas also forest laws such as keeping their animals in the non-grazing grounds and wherever restricted areas were there, they just went there to break the law, and timber restrictions were broken, so they were floated there, as was the public sale of illegally obtained forest produce. In the United Province UP area, no revenue campaign was launched with zamindar, many zamindars encouraging it. Many zamindars encouraged to refuse to pay the revenue to the government, and they were very happy and helping the peasants in this area. In Manipur and Nagaland, we had Rani Gedinlui, very important leader. We have already, read a lot about her during the socio reforms chapter, where social religious reform movements I discussed with you. So there in the northeast, we had Rani Gaidinlui, a Naga spiritual leader who followed her cousin Hypo Jadonang. Very, very important. So Hypo Jadonang, she used to follow, born in what is now the state of Manipur, and raised the banner of revolt against the foreign rule at the age of 13. But she was arrested. She got released after the independence of India, and when she was there in jail, Jawaharlal Nehru went to meet her and decided to release her later after independence. So this is very important fact. Remember for prelims. If we talk about Krishna Pillai, during civil disobedience movement, defended the national flag and resisted lathi charge on the Calicut beach on November 11 November 1930. So please remember all these names. These leaders were very, very important. If we talk about the government response, of course, government was irritated. So in July 1930, Irwin suggested roundtable conference, retreated Dominion goal, accepted Sapru and Jayakar suggestion to explore the possibility of peace between Congress and government. So he gave a offer, and in August 1930, Motilal Nehru talked to meet Gandhi, and they just they went to Gandhiji, and he was at that time in Yerwada jail. So please remember, because he was writing a very important book during this particular time, the Songs of Prison, which is a question in prelims if you will see the PYQs. So Gandhiji was there in Yerwada jail. So Motilal and Nehru, they both went there, and they met Gandhiji in Yerwada jail and discussed the settlement there. Then they gave three demands. They retweeted three demands in front of the British government: right of succession from Britain. First of all, they wanted that we just want a free India. We don't want to continue with the British rule. Complete national government with control over defense and finance. An independent tribunal to settle Britain's financial claims, because Britishers were claiming that they developed Indians. They were extremely helpful for the British Indians. They civilized Indians. So all the claims could be discussed later. So these points were there. Now Gandhi-Irwin pact was signed, because Gandhi also initially suggested few offers, then Irwin also came with few offers. So they both agreed on few points. But the problem was Gandhiji wanted Bhagat Singh to get released, and he was asking Lord Irwin to release Bhagat Singh. So here you will see that how the points were there. But Gandhiji, even after even after requesting again and again, he could not achieve any success in releasing Bhagat Singh. So he had to sign the Gandhi-Irwin Pact in the end. But when he signed it and when Bhagat Singh was hanged later, people started hating Gandhiji. Many of the leaders and in Punjabi area, people, they were extremely unhappy that how could Gandhiji sign a pact where Bhagat Singh was not released. So he could have hold it, or any of the new diplomacy could be followed by Gandhiji, but at that time he could not do it. So let's understand what was Gandhi-Irwin Pact. It is also known as Delhi Pact of 1931. After getting frustrated in the first roundtable conference, Britishers decided to somehow keep Congress in the second meeting. So Gandhi, after suggesting few points and after reading those points, Irwin decided to agree on few of the things. Immediate release of political prisoners not convicted of violence. But as we know, Bhagat Singh was related to the violent activities, and he was convicted of violence in many areas, and that's why we could not get him released. Remission of all fines not yet collected. Government said, okay, you don't need to pay any fines anymore. Return all lands not yet sold to the third parties. Lenient treatment to those government servants who resigned. Right to make salt in the coastal villages for personal consumption but not to sale. Right to peaceful and non aggressive picketing means if you want to protest against the government, do it, but it should be very, very peaceful. Withdraw of emergency ordinances. All these points came, and then Gandhiji said, okay, fine, but you are not talking about Bhagat Singh. Why? Irwin said, no, if you just want to go for it, then we will come in the second roundtable conference, and there we can discuss about the independence of India. But Gandhiji, somehow he got confused and he signed the deal. So Irwin, rejected 2 points in the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. First of all, public inquiry into public excesses, that how public excesses and expenses were there, and commutation of Bhagat Singh and his comrades to life sentence, because Gandhiji thought that once he could achieve at least life sentence, then after independence we will release Bhagat Singh. But of course this idea could not be there, and Irwin just rejected these 2 points. When these 2 points were rejected, now it is said that when it was already clear in the Delhi Pact or the Gandhi-Irwin Pact that Bhagat Singh won't be released, then why Gandhiji signed it? Why Gandhiji signed the deal? Why? Because there was no point of signing it because Bhagat Singh, he was a great leader, so popular. Then why? Can you tell me why he signed it? Who can tell me in the comments? I am waiting for your comments, guys. You need to comment, and that's why I take live classes because I like reading your comments live. Let me have some water, a small 1 minute break, and then I'll see how many of you are giving the right answer. The question is, if Gandhi ji knew that Bhagat Singh won't be released, then why he signed the Gandhi-Irwin Pact? I can't see any of the right answer till now. You guys can still try, okay? I don't see any of the right answers, so I'll just give you the right answer here. Basically, what happened, guys, Gandhiji knew that even if he won't sign the deal, Bhagat Singh would be hanged. There was no point of holding the debate. There was no point of increasing the British frustration. And he thought that maybe in the second roundtable conference, a goal of independent India would be achieved. So, this misconception was there in his mind. And that's why he signed the deal because the signature was not related to the release of Bhagat Singh in reality. Gandhiji only, he could only create a pressure on the government, but ultimately he knew that Britishers won't leave Bhagat Singh. And that's why, Britishers just signed the deal. So Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed. So Gandhiji said, okay, now if we are signing the pact, then we will suspend the civil disobedience movement and we will participate in the next roundtable conference. So, in the second roundtable conference, he participated. The pact paved the way for Government of India Act of 1935, which softened the diarchy system and allowed a greater number of Indian representatives in the central legislature. And today, the Indian constitution, which we see today, the present constitution of India, is having a big level of base coming from this Government of India Act, right? Indian constitution is inspired from so many other things, right? So many other constitutions of the world, but remember that Indian constitution is greatly based on the Government of India Act of 1935, which we are still following in India. Now, there was a Karachi Congress session also, which was there in March 1931, because Gandhiji signed the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. So, Congress had to decide something on it. So, they said that we will disassociate from the political violence, but they admired the bravery and sacrifice of three martyrs: Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru. Of course, they somehow admired the bravery, but they could not save Bhagat Singh. Bhagat Singh was hanged, so that's why they were unhappy, but they said that we are not associated with any political violence. They wanted to endorse the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. They wanted to have the same Purna Swaraj goal in their mind. Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru, they were executed 6 days before this session on 29th March 1931. Punjab Naujawan Bharat Sabha, they met Gandhi on his way to Karachi with black flag demonstrations in protest of his failure to secure commutation of the death sentence for Bhagat Singh and his comrades. So yes, Gandhi ji for the very first time in India saw protest against him, saw demonstrations against him. If we talk about the resolution on FR, free speech and free, you know, speech thing, right to form association and right to assemble, universal and franchisee, equal right irrespective of caste, creed, sex, neutrality of state in religious matters, free and compulsory primary education, protect the culture, language, script of minorities and linguistic minorities. All these things were there, all these resolutions were there at that time. So these resolutions came with the Congress session. Now, after having it, they also had a resolution on the national economy policy, substantial reduction in the rent and revenue in case of landholders, exemption from the rent for uneconomic holdings, control of usury, and right to workers and peasants to form unions. These things were asked, these things were demanded. Now you will see that Britishers, they will just betray Indians again. In the first round table conference, nothing was achieved, but after suspending civil disobedience movement, in the second round table conference also, they did not give anything to Gandhiji or Congress, and this somehow frustrated Gandhiji a lot. So let's understand three round table conferences in detail. First Roundtable Conference. It was on November 1930. It held in accordance with the Simon Commission report, which was from 1930. So, in this report only, Simon Commission report, it was decided that they will discuss the report later. So, the British King himself, George V, officially inaugurated the first Roundtable Conference on 12th November 1930 at the House of Lords in London, and it was chaired by then British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald. First time the British and Indians they met as equals. Congress and some prominent business leaders they declined to attend, but many other Indian groups were present, attended by princely states, Muslim League, Justice Party, Hindu Mahasabha, and others. Muslim League sent Aga Khan, Maulana Muhammad Ali Johar, and others. Government of India, represented by Narendranath Bhupendranath Mitra, C.P. Ramaswamy Iyer, M. Ramachandra Rao. Nothing much was achieved. Generally agreed that India was to be developed into a federation, safeguards regarding defense and finance, while other departments were to be transformed. Only few things were there, you know, nothing great was achieved. Only it was saying that India was to develop into a federation and defense, finance, safeguards would be there, while other departments were to be transferred. So you know that defense and finance is the main thing for the government, right? No other point is that important. So, of course, it was not a good roundtable conference. First roundtable conference failed. In the second roundtable conference, after the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, Congress came, and now with the Congress, second roundtable happened. In this second roundtable conference, it was there in London. Members of Indian Liberal Party such as T.B. Sapru, C.Y. Chitamani, and Srinivas Sastri, they appealed to Gandhi to talk with Viceroy. The conference main task was to get two commitments on federal structure and minorities. So Indian National Congress, nominated Gandhi ji as the sole representative, and A. Rangaswamy Iyengar and M. Malviya, they were also there to understand the deal. Apart from the Congress, there were a large number of Indian participants. The princely states, Muslims, Hindu groups, liberals, Justice Party, Sikhs, Parsis, Indian Christians, all these, you know, uh, leaders were there. Okay, so Congress was there, and so many other participants were also there. Here, Gandhi demanded the immediate establishment of responsible government at the national and provincial levels. Gandhiji rejected the idea of separate electorate for untouchables, separate electorate or special safeguards for Muslims or any other minorities. He said were unnecessary. Okay, he was saying that we can give them reservation, not separate electorate. Gandhiji wanted reservation. Separate electorates were demanded by Muslims and the poor Christians and Anglo Indians by the Minorities Pact. So, of course, they were asking for separate electorate, but Gandhiji was asking for reservation. So, when government understood that nothing could be there, government decided to give a communal award in which government wanted to uplift the backward castes of India. So it was on 16th August 1929 when PM Ramsay MacDonald announced the MacDonald Award. It was based on the finding of Indian Franchisee Committee, also known as Lothian Committee. It established separate electorate and reserved seats for minorities, including the depressed classes, who were granted 78% reserved seats. Okay, 78 reserved seats, not percent, but 78 reserved seats. Now here, for some of the seats in Bombay, the award provided separate electorates for Muslims, Europeans, Sikhs, Indian Christians, depressed classes, and Marathas. So you can see that Britishers were not only following the divide and rule policy, but they also wanted to create a separation and demarcation in all the Indian spheres. So provisions were there in the provincial legislature, seats were to be distributed on communal basis. Existing seats of provincial legislatures were to be doubled. Muslims, wherever minority, they will be granted the weightage, except in the northwestern frontier province because their Muslims were in majority. 3% seats got reserved for women in all provinces. Depressed classes to be accorded the status of minority. Allocation of seats were to be made for laborers, landlords, traders, and industrialists. So, in response of this communal award and offer, Congress just rejected it. Congress said that we don't understand it, we have no idea to follow what. Gandhiji saw that communal award was an attack on the Indian unity and nationalism, so he rejected it. Ambedkar supported the communal award, so it could be asked in the prelims that who supported communal award. So only and only Ambedkar supported it because Ambedkar saw a great influence on the part of reserved, uh, you know, backward classes getting reservation and so many seats, so that's why he supported the communal award. Now there was a Poona pact. Poona pact was signed in 24 September 1932 when Gandhiji was in the Yerwada jail. It was signed at Yerwada Central Jail in Poona between Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi, because at that time Baba Saheb Ambedkar was leading the backward section of India. Mahatma Gandhi was unhappy about the communal award. So they highlighted it, and it was highlighted by the amendment to the communal award, abandoned the separate electorate for the depressed classes. They said we should only increase the reservation. So the seats were increased from 71 to 147 in the provincial legislatures, and in the central legislature 18%. Nobody would be discriminated against on the basis of caste on matters regarding election to the local bodies or in public services appointments. a certain sum of money from educational grant would be allotted for the education and depressed classes in all the provinces. Okay, so it was signed in this way. This was the Poona Pact. Okay, so here you can see all the points of Poona Pact, and I hope you understand that it was signed to have no deadlock according to the Communal Award. Now the question is why this situation was there between Gandhiji and Ambedkar, and why they had to sign a Poona Pact. The answer is Gandhiji thought that the mindset needs to be changed first. There is no use of making a law if you cannot change the mindset. Like if you see the constitution of India today, we have reservation in India, but still the discrimination is there in the society. If you see it clearly, you will understand that the discrimination is still there, and the discrimination is only increasing with time. It is not decreasing with the reservation. Why? Because people still follow that discrimination in their houses, in their home, and there is still a kind of mindset which is there with the upper caste and lower caste. So Gandhiji wanted to change this mindset, and not to change it by a law, but by changing the Indian minds, by influencing and convincing people that we should follow good things, nice things, and we should be living happily together. There is no need to make a law, because if you will make a law, you will clearly make a marginalized section which is in a constitutional way. So Gandhiji wanted to have no clear line here, and he somehow wanted to follow his heart. But the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he was very strict about making a law, because he said that if you will ask someone to be good and nice, they won't behave nicely. If you will make a law to behave, then only they will follow it. We don't want a mindset, because we can't play with it, and you don't know and you can't read the mind of the people. So it's impossible to change a mindset which is being followed since the ancient times in India. So it's better to make a law and implement it in a very strict way. So that's why both of them had a clash in an ideological way, and this ideological clash led to the Poona Pact, and ultimately they both decided for having a reservation, not to have a separate electorate. So Ambedkar also became happy, and Gandhiji also became very happy. If we talk about the third roundtable conference, INC and Gandhiji, they did not attend because they were already very much betrayed in the second round table. So they just decided to relaunch the civil disobedience movement. So the third round table conference was of no use, and neither did many Indian leaders join it, because they understood that this is just a waste of time. Delegates were sent by Indian states like Aga Khan III, B.R. Ambedkar, Muhammad Iqbal, Begum Jahanara Shehnawaz, Sir Purushottam Das Thakur Das. They were among the other Indian representatives. In March 1933, recommendations were published in white paper and debated in the British Parliament. A joint select committee was formed to examine the recommendations, and they drafted a new act for India. And the committee produced a draft bill in February 1935, which became the Government of India Act of 1935. During a conference, college students named Chaudhary Rehmat Ali proposed the name of the inclusion of Bill of Rights for citizens, and it was postponed for filmy reasons. It was not something which happened in reality. The inclusion of Bill of Rights for citizens was postponed for again filmy reason. Nobody knew why it happened, and yes, it was just postponed. So all three roundtable conferences, you understood. First and third roundtable conference was of no use. Only in the second roundtable conference, Congress and Gandhiji, they participated. Gandhiji was only leader to represent everyone. But Gandhiji was also frustrated because he got nothing from the sides of the Britishers. And he could not say Bhagat Singh also. He was getting a lot of protest against him. So he was also unhappy. So all these roundtable conferences were of no use, but only you can understand that they, for the very first time, British government decided to sit with Indians on a table and on an equal front. So it was a sense of a sense of equality which came in the minds of Indians, and it really uplifted the mindset of the Indian society, that how they should debate and participate in a political way. So it was a opening of the mind, and it was a joining of a lot of dots, because during the national movements things were fragmented and scattered, but the ideas got aligned after these three roundtable conferences. So, if we talk about the other facts regarding the Roundtable Conference, the Roundtable Conferences, they were attended by different groups via their representatives, such as princely states, Muslim League, Sikh, Parsis, women, liberals, and depressed classes. Depressed classes were represented by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar in all the three Roundtable Conferences. Similarly, liberals were represented by Tej Bahadur Sapru in all the Roundtable Conferences. Begum Jahan Ara Shehnawaz, she represented women in all the roundtable conferences. So remember these three names: Begum, Jahanara, Shehnawaz. So how can you remember it? Begum Jahanara, मतलब पूरी जहान की बेगम, means जहान, जहां means all the women, जहां, all the women, okay, पूरे जहां की, सारी जहां की. So सारे जहां, all women. तेज बहादुर सप्रू, liberals, liberals are always तेज, liberal लोग तेज होते हैं. कंजर्वेटिव लोग क्या होता है, कंजर्वेटिव्स दे आर मोर ट्रेडिशनल इन देयर माइंडसेट, दे आर वेरी स्लो, दे डोंट वांट अ चेंज. लिबरल्स आर क्विक, दे वांट तेजी, दे वांट तेज, राइट. तो ऐसे याद रखो, लिबरल्स तेज बहादुर सप्रू. एंड भीमराव अम्बेडकर बैकवर्ड क्लासेस को रिप्रेजेंट करते थे, एंड दिस इज समथिंग विच वी ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, बिकॉज वी ऑल नो अबाउट भीमराव अम्बेडकर एंड हाउ ही हैड टू follow things, and how used to go for the depressed classes, the way he always had minds regarding the uh, reservation and bills in India. Now let's come to the Gandhi's Harijan campaign, which was there in 1929. He saw that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is representing the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, or backward sections of India, but he said that we should not call them backward, we should not call them scheduled caste or scheduled tribe, we should call them uh, Harijans, because they are the जन of God, वो भगवान के जन है, हरिजन है, हरि के हैं. ठीक है. So he just established the All India Anti Untouchability League, because he wanted to protest against untouchability. So it was in September 1932, and the weekly Harijan in January 1933. After his release, he moved to Satyagraha Ashram in Wardha, vowing not to return to Sabarmati Ashram until Swaraj was won. Beginning in Wardha, he conducted a Harijan tour, convening 20,000 kilometers while collecting funds from his newly formed Harijan Sevak Sangh. Gandhiji was attacked by orthodox and reactionary elements throughout his campaign, and many people again started disliking him, because they wanted reservation and representation, by even if they are getting marginalized in constitution, but they thought that we will have a section, to represent or and to get something by our own selves. But Gandhiji, by calling them Harijan, somehow made a general statement for them, and that's why people who could not achieve any political votes, they started just attacking Gandhiji and the idea of Harijan Sabha. Okay. If we talk about the mass participation, a lot of mass participation was there. Women participated here. Gandhi had specifically requested the women to take the lead in the movement, and they quickly became a familiar sight. They started protesting outside the liquor stores and opium dens. They started protesting outside the shops selling any foreign clothes. Students also came along with women. They were the young mindset. They had a significant role in boycotting the foreign clothes and liquor, and it really drained the wealth or the balance of trade from the Britain, because you will see that Britishers will lose a lot of funds. They will lose a lot of funds here. Muslims in some areas, they were also supporting Gandhiji, but majorly majority of Muslims, they were with Muslim League, not Gandhiji and Congress, such as Northwestern Frontier Province. In these areas, Muslims were with Gandhiji. They saw a high level of participation. Middle class Muslim participation was high in Sinhata, Tripura, Gaibandha, Bagura, and Noakhali. Okay, if we talk about merchants and petty traders, trader associations and commercial bodies were active in carrying out the boycott, particularly in Tamil Nadu and Punjab. Traders were very high. Tribals were active participants in central provinces and Maharashtra and Karnataka also, because they also wanted an independent India. Workers also from Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, Sholapur. Peasants were active in UP, Bihar, Gujarat. Okay, so all the peasants were here. Here you can see the extent of mass participation. So in case they ask you to write an answer in mains, that please explain the extent of mass participation in the second in the civil disobedience movement of India, or in the last phase of civil disobedience movement. So just mention all these points and have it in a way that you make a very short and simple flowchart out of it and create it in this way. Fine. So we have completed all the points of today's chapter in a very brief way. And I hope you understand the topic if you will read the book by yourself again. In case you have still any doubts, you can ask. In the next class, we will discuss the debates on the future strategy after civil disobedience movement, because we need to see what happened after civil disobedience movement and how we started the Quit India movement. Now I will come to your doubts. So let me know if you have anything to ask, and if you have no doubts, then thank you so much. I will end the session here. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you liked the class. But still, if you have anything, you can discuss that with me in the comments. I hope you are doing your self study, but still, maybe it's not a question from modern history. But if you have any other subject related or preparation related issue, you can discuss that with me. I'm here to talk. I'm here to listen to your problems and resolve it. Okay, thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Mechanical Minds. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.